Good evening, everyone. It's great to come in such pouring rain. We are 1 week before Pesach, exactly a week before Leil HaSeder. And 5-10 minutes, I just refresh your memory about some of the things that needs to be done, and then we'll talk about different things. The first thing we have to remember, as I said last time when I was here, we have to eat all the chametz that we have. Try not to leave anything in the house. Cookies, wheat, pasta, eat it. Just cook it and eat it. If you have $20-$30 worth of chametz, wafers, cookies, just get rid of it. Give it to the cleaning lady, to the guy from work, to the school bus driver, whatever. Find who to give it to. If you have a lot of bottles of whiskey, then go to the rabbi and sell it to a goy. If you have a cleaning lady or a goy at work, you can put everything in a box, go to the goy, tell him, give me $1, take it, you bought it from me, I want to buy it from you after Pesach, and you come after Pesach and give him $1, and say, I want to buy back the whiskey, finished. Don't keep it in the house. It's better to give it to him, let him buy it, and take it. Why? If something goes wrong with the rabbis and the goy over there, then you have tons of chametz in the house for the whole week. And every second it's 3 sins from the Torah. Think for a minute. A person eats 1 ounce of pork. 1 ounce of pork, it's considered 1 sin from the Torah. Then he eats another steak, 1 ounce, another sin. Then he eats another steak. How much? He needs a lot of time to eat 3 steaks, 1 ounce each, no? So this is 3 sins. Now it's 3 sins every second. 3, 6, 9. You don't want to mess with chametz. Chametz is one of the strictest things in the Torah. It's a very important mitzvah. A Jew that eats chametz on Pesach is worse than a murder. People don't know it. The punishment, it's karet. Mamash serious, karet. The soul gets cut out of eternity for drinking beer or whiskey or eating chametz in Pesach. That's why we got to be very careful. Not only it's such a strict mitzvah, it's one of the main foundation of Judaism. This exodus of Egypt, this whole idea of coming to freedom, that we were slaves and now we came out of Egypt and we received the Torah. Every mitzvah in Judaism, every mitzvah, almost every mitzvah, it's Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim, a memory of the exodus of Egypt. Shabbat, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim, we say in the Tefillah, we say in the Kiddush, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim. Wedding, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim. Tefillin, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim. Matzah, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim. Everything, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim. It's very important. Therefore, we don't want to mess with this mitzvah. Besides, there is also a separate mitzvah, which is to clean the chametz. To clean the chametz, to get the chametz out of your territory. It's called tashbitu. It's not a restriction, it's a positive commandment. What's the difference between a positive commandment to a negative? The difference is, first in a punishment, that negative is always worse punishment. It's called love. Love deoraita, love from the Torah, a restriction from the Torah. You should not is worse than you should do. Always worse. And therefore I give you a few examples. If a person he has to bribe a goy to let him do a mitzvah that the goy doesn't let him. Let's say the goy, I don't know, a cop, put him in prison now, or he's a prisoner by the Hamas, whatever, lo alenu, with these monsters. So now his tefillin is in her hand. He's behind bars, and the tefillin is right there. He cannot reach. So he tell Ahmed, bring me this tefillin. Ahmed said, no, you want to put tefillin? No, we don't give it to you. So he said to Ahmed, here, I have $100, take it, give me the tefillin. Ahmed agreed to take the $100. He got lucky. But what happens if Ahmed is clever? It's hard to find, but let's say it happens. So Ahmed, now the terrorist, he wants to bargain with him. So Ahmed says to him, we checked your bank account. We saw you have $100 million. You're a wealthy guy. I want 99 million to give you this tefillin. Does he have to give him? The answer is no. Why? How much he has to give him? Up to 20% of his worth. Whatever you are worth altogether, up to 20%. Which means, in that case, up to $20 million you are obligated to give him, not to miss one mitzvah. But what happens if Ahmed bring pork to make him eat? And he say, no, here, $100, take it, don't make me eat the pork. I'm not allowed. Now, he is obligated to give 100% of his worth, not to pass a restriction from the Torah. From here, there's many other ways, but from here you see that the restrictions is more severe than you should not do. Why? Because by not doing something, it's wrong, but you stay passive. You're not doing something negative with your hands. You understand? Same thing, sometimes kids, teenage, it's very common, even in the community here, that parents tell their kids to bring them something from the refrigerator. And it's not kosher. And the kid is Baal Tshuva. No, what's every week something new here? Baruch Hashem. How do you know I'm so funny? Anyway. So the kid, Levi, the sauna here is working. What happened? The heat is on? Leave the door open. Give us some air. Okay, so anyway, the kid, his father wanted him to bring him, cold cuts. It's not kosher. Make me a sandwich. It's a problem now. Because on one hand, he has to respect what his father tells him. On the other hand, he's not allowed to feed his father something that is not allowed. It's not kosher. So what does he do, this poor kid? It's a catch-22. So even though if he won't make him, the father is going to go and make himself, or the mother is going to make, or the sister, or somebody will make him. He's hungry, he's going to eat not kosher, with or without you. So the poor kid, he makes the sandwich, and he doesn't give it to him to his hand. He put it over here, and he say, here, I made it, and he put it over there, and the father takes it. It's different if he gives it to him to his hand, or if he puts it and he takes. Believe it or not. Same thing by killing someone. If you take a knife and stab a person, the Torah says you must be executed. But if you tie him to a tree in front of a hungry lion and the lion eats him up, you cannot be executed by the court. Hashem will kill you and take care of you. That's a different story. But the court cannot kill you. Cannot execute. It's called grama, indirect death. It's different, indirect death. Now, so a person that is a crooked person, but he is a Talmid Chacham, is the most dangerous creature. Why? Someone that is ignorant and is evil is not so clever. Somebody that knows a lot and is a crooked, evil person, like deceiving and always is, like a professional crook, he can make damage with the most minimal punishment. That's called Naval Birshut Torah. A crook and a service of the Torah, which means he knows all the tricks. And there are lawyers like this. They know all the constitution, the laws, how to go around. One Hasid, many years ago, he smuggled thousands of bottles of expensive whiskey to Israel. A whole container full of whiskey bottles. So the Israeli duty, they caught the whiskey. It's fortune, more than $100,000 worth of bottles of whiskey in the old days. And after they arrested the guy, they brought him to trial. So the judge said, what do you have to say? He said, not guilty. So they asked him, what do you mean not guilty? You didn't smuggle the whiskey? He said, sure I did. He said, so what do you mean not guilty? He said, I smuggled according to the law. So they said, what do you mean you smuggle according to the law? Don't you know it's not allowed to smuggle? You have to pay duty? So he said, the law says that you cannot smuggle anything from the land and from the ocean. I smuggle by the airplane. So they say, are you kidding? He said, no, check the law. I did not violate the law. He said, not allowed through the land, not allowed through the ocean. So they went and checked the law, and that's what it says. Why? Because it was written 100 years ago when the Turkish were in charge of Israel. They control Israel. There were only trains and boats, no planes yet. So nobody thought to write in a constitution, you're not allowed to smuggle through airplanes. So that day they changed the law, and this Hasid got away with all the merchandise. They apologized to him. And Baruch Hashem, thanks to him, they changed the law. You understand? So this is all kinds of way to go around. So that's called indirect. So there's a positive mitzvah, tashbitu seor mibatechem. Get rid of all the seor, which means get it out with your hands. That's a positive mitzvah. And two restriction, lo yira'eh velo yematzeh. Lo yira'eh lecha chametz, lo yimatzeh lecha chametz. The Torah used two different words to count it as two different restrictions. And the punishment for someone who has chametz in his house is every second 3 sins, 2 restrictions, and 1 positive commandment that he missed by not doing it. If he eats the chametz, if it's not intentional, he didn't know it's chametz, let's say he had something, and in the end they told him, oh, there was wheat vinegar in it. He didn't know. He checked, he saw vinegar, he never knew vinegar, some of it made from wheat. That's an innocent mistake. It's still a very serious punishment. Every time the Torah say karet to the soul, if a person did it not intentionally, he has to bring a goat to Bet HaMikdash. It's called korban chatat. Now you have to remember that in the old days it wasn't like today you get into your BMW and in 45 minutes you're in Jerusalem. It was different days. You had to take a goat, and if you live in Tiberia or in Tzfat or anywhere you were, you have to take a carriage with a donkey and take a goat and go all the way. Now there was not beautiful roads with lights like you have today on the way to Yerushalayim. There was different roads. There was trees. There was all kinds of things. You have to go with the carriage, and the wheels are breaking, and you have to put another wheel and fix it. There's a lot of hassle. By the time you get there, by the time you sacrifice, by the time you return, your business is bankrupt. If you have a store, that's it. You're not in a store for a month. This is for not intentional eating chametz on Pesach, or not intentional making a sin in Shabbat. Let's see, by mistake you wrote a word on Shabbat. By mistake, Shabbat, finished. You got to take a goat all the way to Bet HaMikdash. This is to show us that Hashem is very serious when it comes to business. It's no joke. No joke. Some people, they're willing to gamble all their eternity. They say, I'm sure that Hashem is merciful. When I get there, He'll understand me. We'll work out a deal, plea bargain. I cannot believe that Hashem is so cruel. What? You really believe that He's going to do this to me just because I wrote on Shabbat? Or just because I did that? I'm a good person. It cannot be. You know how much tzedakah I give every month? Cannot be. And I ask, why to take such a risk? If you say that it cannot be, that means the Torah is a lie. There's a serious problem here. We always brag that we are the only nation that has a solid divine book from God. The only nation. Nobody has. We are the only one. There's 13.2 million Jews in the world, and only 2 million are religious. That's it. 2 million people have the truth in their hand from 6.4 billion. 2 million diamonds. The rest is all sand. 2 million diamonds. From the 2 million, how many are really real? Maybe 500,000. So really, take 1.5 million away, because it's all fake. Let's say 500,000 are really real. They really keep, they're really afraid of Hashem, they really respect Him, they really learn Torah. The women are really modest, not $5,000 suits, tons of makeup, dancing, Rabbi, it's no big deal. We're in the 21st century, really religious. How many? I wish 500,000. I wish. Yeah. How Rabbi Yaakov Hillel, the biggest mekubal in the world, once I met with him 10 years ago, and he says, I said, Baruch Hashem, there's hundreds of thousands Baalei Tshuva. So he looked at me with such, I don't want to say angry look, but believe me, it was an angry look. He goes like this, what? Hundreds of thousands Baalei Tshuva, everyone with their nonsense. 400,000, 600,000, it's all baloney. Baalei Tshuva is the Bnei Torah, those who are connected daily to the Torah. This is Baalei Tshuva. The rest is all nonsense. This is his words, I'm a witness. The rest is all nonsense. If you're not connected to the Torah every day, you cannot be Baal Tshuva. You're partially Baal Tshuva, yes, better than nothing. Of course, Hashem appreciates every mitzvah. But to call yourself a Baal Tshuva, you have to shake before you say it. I spoke to big rabbis in my life, here and there, in different scenarios. And when we used to say we Baalei Tshuva, the rabbi said, I wish I will be Baal Tshuva. I didn't get to this level yet. Every person, even he was born religious, every day has to make tshuva for his sins. It's obvious. So it's not only somebody who was born to parents that are not Shomer Shabbos, he is considered Baal Tshuva. No. Even the biggest tzaddik of the generation, he made one mistake here and there, he has to make tshuva for it. To make tshuva, it's for every Jew. Not like some people say, no, we are the frum people and they are the Baalei Tshuva. Today, I don't understand how can it be, maybe if you have tissue, I don't understand how can it be. This is the world of lies without a doubt. The Gemara says, Alma de Shikra, the world of lies. But my question is, how did we get to a situation that the Torah say one thing and the religious people completely ignore what the Torah says? The Torah says, במקום שבעלי תשובה עומדים, אפילו צדיקים גמורים don't get there. In a place where the Baalei Tshuva, were Jews who made repentance, that means they used to be not religious, and today they are religious. In a place where they stand, even from birth can never reach there. Why? It's not the same a person who was born into the truth, who was a person who born into a world of lies and left everything, all the temptation, all the desires, all the phony lifestyles, and changed completely to be righteous. It's not the same. The one who changed deserves a lot more credit. But today, for whatever reason, most, not all, most of the religious from birth look down on the Baalei Tshuva, not up. Torah say up, they look down. You understand? When you see a real big tzaddik, he's very impressed when he hear Baal Tshuva. Very impressed. Mamash, very impressed. But most ordinary people, he's a Baal Tshuva. Not only in the Baalei Tshuva, something even worse, converts. Converts, the Torah is writing 36 times to love the converts, to respect them, to help them, never to torture them, never to deceive them, never to do anything bad to make them any sorrow. They are lonely in the world, they left their environment, they left their family members, their siblings, whatever it is. And in reality, I get so many emails from converts that are listening to the lectures online, and it tears my heart to pieces. What treatment they are getting in the communities where they live. They treat them worse than garbage, excuse my language. And I say to myself, how can it be? How can a person who loves Hashem and fear Hashem and care about the Torah is not shaking when he see a convert to go and be such a chutzpah and have the nerve the way he talks to them? It should have been the other way around. As soon as a person see converts, come brother, come have a seat, what can I do for you? If he gives donation $20 to every person at the door, he has to right away double the amount. And if the convert bring his kids to the Talmud Torah, even if he's not in such a high level, the Rosh Yeshiva had to go completely out of his way to accept the kids and make them the shining diamonds in the yeshiva. But in reality, forget it. Everything the opposite. Many religious people will be shocked when they come to Hashem. Remember what I say. We're all going to get there. Then you remember that I was right. Will be shocked when they come secure. I'm a tzaddik. I learned most of my life Torah. I put tefillin, I eat kosher, I do this, I do everything. What? Tzitzit, beard all the way to the floor, I sweep the floor when I walk. Sombrero from Mexico, original, $500, long coat, 2 buttons in the back. Somebody comes to kiss my hand every 5 minutes. As soon as the trial open, Hashem say, directly lagehenom. I don't want to see your face. What? Hashem, maybe I have a twin brother I didn't know of. It's me. Well, every day I'm in yeshiva. Every day you're in yeshiva. As soon as they see the truth, wow, all my life was a mistake. If you think I'm exaggerating, I'll give you 2 proofs. The Gemara say the president of Israel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. How many people in history reached his level? Probably you can count on one hand. First of all, he lived 120 years, full life. Second, he was the student of Hillel HaZaken. The Gemara says he knew the language of the animals, the language of the angels, the language of the rivers, the language of the trees, all the secrets, the stars, anything you can think of, it's right here on his hand. Before he died, he was crying and shaking in his bed. His students come, Rebbe, why are you so nervous? They're hinting to him, we would die to be in your situation. What do you need more than that? That Hashem loves you so much. You lived 120 years, all your life, you teach Torah, you learn Torah. What can go wrong? All the Mefarshim explain why he was shaking. He says in the Gemara, if I go to a judge, human being, that you can bribe him and get away with your punishment, I would still be very nervous. Now when I go in front of a real kosher, strict judge, I won't be shaking. That was his answers to them. But what's the secret here? He was afraid, the Mefarshim said, I saw some of the Mefarshim says, the commentators on the Torah, on the Gemara, they said he was afraid that all his life was a mistake. You hear what they said? That his direction in life, how can it be a mistake? I'm the biggest rabbi in the world. I teach Torah. Thousands of people learn from my Torah, from my book, from what I taught him. He teach him, and he teach him. I benefit from every person that opens a book in Israel. Somehow it relates to me. What can go wrong? No? President of Israel. In the time of the destruction of the Second Temple. Thanks to him we are here. He went to the Caesar and convinced him not to destroy Sanhedrin, Yavne, 71st Chachamim that sat in Yavne at that time, not to kill the family of Rabban Gamliel, which is descendants of King David, that's where the Mashiach comes from, and not to kill Tzadok, Rabbi Tzadok, that was fasting for 3 years. When the Romans made an ambush around Yerushalayim, for 3 years every day was fasting until his stomach became like a paper, like a piece of paper. Now when he wanted to eat, after they surrendered, he couldn't. He just couldn't eat anymore. So he asked him if your doctors can give him all kinds of special ground foods to cure him. He made a deal with him. I don't have time to tell the whole story. I said in one of my other lectures, but the idea here was that this was a very important person. And guess what? After all that, he was shaking that maybe his entire life was not 100% to the right direction. And that's what it means. Even religious person has to always evaluate his lifestyle. Maybe I don't live in the right place. Maybe I'm not teaching my children in the right direction. Maybe I'm not a good husband. That reminds me that in the previous weeks we spoke a lot about Shalom bayit, peace in a family. I spoke very strong against women that cheat, because in one of the lectures that I arrived here on my way, a woman was calling me to try to help her to get a get from a guy, and actually while she's talking, I realized she's confessing actually that she was cheating on her husband. So I had to explain to her that even if you want to marry that person, your boyfriend, whatever you can call it, it's forbidden. You're forbidden now for your husband for eternity, and you're forbidden to your boyfriend for eternity. You cannot marry him. There's not going to be any blessing in it. It's against God. It's like a Kohen with a divorced woman. Cannot go on. That's it. You can do whatever you want. It will never work. So now maybe it's the time to talk a little bit about the other side. It's much more common still, even though the women in this generation is nothing what they used to be 2 or 3 generations ago, with no offense to any woman here, but that's the situation. What can we do? The man is a lot worse. A lot worse. It's true that the Torah allowed the man to marry more than one woman. It's true. The Torah did not allow the woman to marry more than one man. Only one man, and the recommendation of the Torah that this is going to be your first man and your last man you ever know for your entire life. That's a kosher woman. The first and last. If it doesn't work that way, if she got divorced and she get remarried, it's still perfectly kosher, no problem. Or if she's a widow, God forbid, she gets married, no problem. But definitely not to go a bar girl that go from one bed to another, excuse my language. Definitely not. This wasn't the intention of the Torah for a holy nation. No, for sure not. So the point is, since the man was allowed to marry more than one woman, and there's reasons for it. What's the reasons for it? Because in the old days, the world was different than today. Today, everything is easy. With the internet, with trains, with planes, with telephones. The whole world is really very small, because you can communicate with the whole world. In 24 hours, you can get to anywhere you want in the whole world. But in the old days, this is the way it was. It used to be that if you wanted to go from Israel to Iraq, right, it would take days with the donkey. Days, weeks. It will take weeks. And then if you want to take a boat, to go from one side of the world to the other, let's say to China or anywhere, it would take 3 months. Just to get there, to sell your merchandise. And then to be there a month, and then to go back another 3 months. 7 months, you're out of home. What normal man can be without his wife for 7 months? It's very difficult. So the Torah allowed people to have more than one wife. Either he takes with him one, and he lives to take care of the children, or he has a wife in the other side. Yeah, but you should know that it was very, very rare to find men, Jewish men, that married more than one woman. Very rare. It was never a custom that many men had more than one wife. We don't find it. In the entire Gemara, I don't even know if there's one case there. Maybe there is, but it's very, very rare that you found a man that had more than one woman. Even look, in the last 1,000 years by the Ashkenazi world, it's forbidden. Rabbeinu Gershom made a decree. No one is allowed to have more than one woman, because even if they want, they cannot handle 2. Cannot handle 1, for sure he cannot handle 2. That's 1,000 years ago. Imagine if he lived today. Maybe Rabbeinu Gershom today said no more marriage. Can't marry anymore. But it was 1,000 years ago. He said, stay with one. It's better for you. The Sfaradim never had that decree. But where do you find, except Yemenites, some of them, and some Moroccans, 99% of the Moroccans who came to Israel, they had one wife. One wife. Even most of the Yemenites, even though it's in Yemen, it was more popular because they live in very strong Muslim community for 2,600 years. So some of them had more than one wife, 1 or 2. But the rest of the world, you don't find Jews that had more than one woman. That leads me to explain today that we have a situation that man is getting married with a woman and begin to cheat on her right shortly after the marriage. Well, yeah, especially now she became pregnant, he said, all right, let me go. I go to this bar, I go to this club, I sit with my friends, we drink a little bit, and who knows what happened next. Then he tells his wife stories. I have to go to the auction. I'm going to stay there in a hotel. I'm coming back tomorrow. Hashem Yirachem. One guy is an electrician in Israel. In Israel, people are afraid to say the truth. I'm also suffering when I say it. Don't think I enjoy to talk about it. From inside, I feel like resistance. But I force myself to say the truth. Force myself because it's time for the people, at least 10% of the people will wake up and stop. It's worth it. Somebody must say it. Somebody must say it. And you don't hear it anywhere. People don't talk about these things. Everyone all of a sudden is politically correct. No, don't talk about this in the lectures. Why people need to know about it. What do you mean? The people are the sinners. What do you mean what they need to know about it? If you don't tell them how they know to stop, they won't ever know. Today there is a very, very scary situation. Many of the girls, they want to go to college in Israel and they can't afford the prices, even though it's nothing compared to here. Here it's a murder, the price of the colleges. But still, over there, people make very little salaries, the parents, they cannot support. So guess what they do to become a student? They become prostitutes. Under the ground. Supposedly nobody knows. In a day she goes to university, and at night she goes from one hotel to the other. One man is an electrician. He had a job in Eilat. Eilat is all the way to the north, the border of Egypt. He goes from Tel Aviv to Eilat. He has a job. He works Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday evening already, the job is still going on. It means he has to come back Monday to do the job. Sunday, because in Israel Sunday it's a regular weekday. So he decides, I'm going to go now all the way back to Tel Aviv, 5 hours with the car, and then come back 5 hours with the car. What for? Just going to stay here in a hotel, stay here for Shabbat, finish the job, Sunday night I'll drive back home. He calls his wife, he said, this is the situation, I'm going to stay here. They're not Shomer Shabbat, so it's not so critical for them. It's like Shabbat for them, unfortunately it's a weekday. So he calls her up, he said, I'm staying here. She said, okay, stay here. It's not the first time it happened. So now he's alone in a hotel. He starts to open up the catalog of the hotel, what the hotel offers. What does he see? It's prostitution service. So I say, it's a chance now to cheat on my wife. Nobody can catch. Nobody will ever know. He called up that number, charged his credit card, and he ordered a girl to come to his hotel. As he's waiting, an hour later, somebody knocks on the door. It's the girl. He opened up the door. His daughter. True story that happened. His daughter. That's the beginning of the story. The pain was so hard. Right away he got a heart attack. He saw that. His heart shrink. He fell on the floor. They call an ambulance. After a few hours he died. You understand? So two she did. One, prostitution was a horrible sin. What do people do for lousy money? Better to be starving to bread for a woman never to let a man touch her. The women knew what they do. For every time how much punishments they're going to get. They'll say, I'll give $1 billion return. I'll return $1 billion. Leave me from this punishment. $1 billion I'll give. I made thousands. I'll give billions. Just to get saved from the horrible punishment that they will get for every time. Not for all the times together. Each time it's a separate horrible sin with a separate horrible punishment. Hard to believe. And if he's a goy, it's even worse, because now it's a separate sin. Because Jews are not allowed to mix with the goyim, with the Gentiles. So now it's another sin on top of it. Shem Yirachem. So that's what happened. So Hashem show him, you want to be a lowlife? This is not going to be your end. Who am I going to send to you? Your own daughter, to see what daughter came out of you. It's no coincidence. So it became a very popular thing today. Today, I already hear about something new. Maybe it's not new anymore. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Open marriage. We live open marriage. We have 3 kids. He goes wherever he wants. I go there. We don't tell each other. Because Sodom and Gomorrah. Hashem killed millions of people for these things. Goyim. by the Goyim is not as severe by the Jews. Sodom and Gomorrah, it's Goyim. This is what they did. Changing couples, married women go with the Goyim. It's not so strict by them, because they're not holy. If you're holy and you make a sin, it's a lot worse when you're not holy. By us, it's needless to say what's going to be our end in the end. Just think about what's going on here. And nobody makes a beep. Mal haaretz Hamas. And nobody makes a beep. People go to sleep like nothing is happening. Television, corruption, what's they show over there? And that's affecting us. What do you think? We are safe? You know how many thousands of religious Jews every year leave the religion because of their desires? Of course, they come with excuses. I have questions, I have this. Baloney. 99% of these questions is excuses. One of them left the yeshiva, and after a while he started to smoke on Shabbat. Slowly, when a person goes down, he doesn't realize. Every week it becomes worse. One day he walks in the street with a cigarette. Who does he see? His Rebbe from the yeshiva when he was in yeshiva. His Rebbe with some of his friends, Talmidim, that they're still very religious, they all walk out of the shul on Shabbat. Right away, through the cigarette, he's afraid from the Rebbe and not from Hashem. He's embarrassed, no problem. So he comes, but they all saw him already. So by their faces, he realized that they saw him. So obviously, the guilt and the embarrassment is killing him. So he comes to the Rabbi, Rabbi, I'm glad I see you. I have a very strong question that bothers me, doesn't give me rest. So the rabbi smiles to me. Right, the rabbi he thinks I was born yesterday, this guy. All right, what's your question? So he gives him a question. The rabbi says, really fantastic question. I don't know the answer. So Rabbi, I have another question. He gives him another question. The rabbi says, it's even better than the first one. I don't know the answer. He asks another question. The rabbi said, wow, you got me real good this time. I don't know any of the answers. I said, Rabbi, come on, who are you fooling? You know the answer. Why don't you? You know every answer. I know you know all this. Why you don't answer me? He told him, I only answer people who really have questions. You don't have questions. You have excuses. I answer your first question, right away you invent another question. I'll answer the second one, you invent the third one. I answer your millionth question, you will invent another million. You know why? Because you decided to be wicked. And you're going to do everything to justify your way. Don't tell me stories. Shabbat Shalom, goodbye. You understand? 99% of the people are like this. Once in a while you find really a person that somebody shook up his emunah, he gave him some contradictions, questions. I'm confused already. I'm confused. And it's very interesting. Let's say somebody asks you a question that you don't know the answer, and it looks like a contradiction. But what about the thousands of other proofs that you saw that leaves no doubt that the Torah can never be written by a person? It all goes to the garbage? I don't get it. If you have 1,000 witnesses in a court that John killed Chris, that's 1,000 witnesses. They all say the same story. And one of them, his story is a little bit shaky. You take him and you ignore the thousands? What's going on? It shows you're not a real person. It's all fake. It's all fake. You hear the story that I said in my CD, in the end of my CD, about Rav Silver from Cincinnati? Do you remember that story or no? I have to hear this. No one heard it. A few years ago, in Cincinnati here, there was one rabbi, his name was Rav Silver. And Rav Silver, he has a shul there over there, and one of his members had a guest for Shabbos. And the member, is not religious. So when he came to shul, he took the yarmulke, one of these yarmulke that fly with the wind. You see them usually in a wedding. I don't know, they couldn't make it a little bit heavier. So they put this yarmulke on. And once once, the davening is finished, the rabbi was following this not religious guy, how he knows the entire prayer. He takes a book, and he prays, he goes like this, 3 steps. He knows everything. When they take out the Torah, he goes like this with his finger. Very nice. The rabbi walked like this. He comes to him after the davening, he spoke to him, right away the guy answered in Yiddish. Now there's no more doubt. This is an ex-from guy, a religious guy. So what happened? So the rabbi is curious. So I started to talk to him. No, what happened that you left the religion? So he said, if you saw what I saw in Auschwitz, you also would leave the religion. So he told him, what did you see? Hundreds of others saw exactly what you saw, and they're very religious. It's true, some left the religion, but many stayed religious after everything they saw. So he said, no, by me, this is the story. So the Nazis used to torture us. We used to stand like this, and the days that they didn't have work for us, they were making us stand for 17 hours, like this, in a cold, in a heat. So a person that looks like a broom, that's how skinny they were, and with 1 slice of bread a day, all day they stand like this. They try not to fall. After a while, people were falling. So whoever falls, they shoot right away. Now you're not allowed to look. Your best friend just died, or chas v'shalom, your father, or your Rebbe. You cannot try to hold him, pick him up. You cannot, because if you move, they'll shoot you also. This is how it was. He said, but before, when we went to sleep at night, at 5 o'clock in the morning, they used to come, let's say 5:30. So half an hour before, we were standing on line. There was one old man, he had a pair of tefillin. Nobody had tefillin there. He had 1 pair of tefillin. And this old man was charging us to put tefillin, not for free. You have to give him something. So you have to give him a cigarette, you have to give him a piece of bread, a potato, whatever you can get. Potato. If you give him something, he lets you put tefillin on. If not, forget it. So one guy was begging him, I don't have any more what to give you. That's it. I left only with pants and a ripped shirt. I have nothing else to give you. I gave you everything I had. Let me put tefillin. He's begging him. And he says, forget it. You're not putting tefillin. So everybody say, hey, what? Give it to him. He said, no. If I give him, I'll have to give you also. No. So the guy says, that day, I decided I'm done with religion. If religion is business, I don't want anything to do with that. So Rabbi Silver told him, I'm very impressed. Your ears should listen to your foolish mouth. Hundreds of Jews were risking their life in a freezing weather, 5 in the morning, to put tefillin, even though, according to the Torah, they are dismissed. They don't have to. It counts like they did. You forced. Hashem He knows you're not an angel. If you cannot do, you cannot do. That's it. They are dismissed. They don't have to. They're willing to risk their life not to go one day without putting tefillin. Hundreds. And they gave the last piece of bread, potato. You know what was a potato in Auschwitz? Better than a Mercedes car today for them. Potato, you see how people will fight on the potato peels. Bankers and judges and doctors and brain surgeons that a year before were in a hospital walking with a pipe, were crawling on the floor to eat potato peels. People don't know. You see some of the movies you can't believe. People live in a sewer for 3 years, family. In a sewer. Bathroom falls on their head. Infection, disease, dead bodies. For 3 years. You can't even pray over there. That's what's the situation. Just not to die. So he says to him, hundreds of people risking giving their life not to miss mitzvah tefillin. You didn't learn anything from them. One wicked Jew, you learn everything from him? Or are you telling stories? So that old man, he got, how do you say, like a knife to the heart. Started to cry. He's crying right away. Couldn't hold. Say, Rabbi, you're right. It's all excuses. So it's not late. Still alive, you can make tshuva. He shook hand and he made tshuva. I was lucky. Now think for a second. If this rabbi would be in his own world, somebody comes into your shul, you don't even come, good Shabbos, how are you, where are you from, come to my house, come again, give me your number, nothing. He comes in and out, he goes, finish. He dies tomorrow, he goes to hell, end of story. You come, you talk to him 5 minutes, you save him from, who knows how much suffering in 5 minutes conversation. The right word in the right minute. The Rebbe from Klosenburg, on the boat from Europe to United States, there was a lot of young guys that got saved. They collected them from all over. There's a boat on the way to United States now. They went to Union, New Jersey. Until today, I think they have a shul there. Union, New Jersey. Klosenburg, Hasidim. Tzanz, Klosenburg. So he says on the boat, there were 400 guys. Huge boat. Men, women, kids, you know. So he had one extra pair of tzitzit. He has one tzitzit on him. So none of them has tzitzit because they took away everything they had. So he said, I have one tzitzit, and I don't know who to give it to. So I want to make a lottery. Each one will take a number, you know, and we'll pick up one number. Everyone will write his name on a piece of paper, full name, put it inside a jar. We'll pick up one name. Whoever's name is going to come up will be able to get the tzitzit. So they're all writing their names. As they're writing their name, one young guy comes and he has a very sloppy shirt. You know, you can imagine how dirty it was. And he took the shirt from the side, he ripped it. Like maybe he took a knife, he cut it from here, he opened it up. He cut it from here, he opened it up. He said, Rabbi, now I must have a tzitzit from the Torah, so you have to give it to me. They do not have 4 corners to their clothes. So they don't have to. You only need the stripes if you have clothes that have 4 corners. In the old days, that was the style. Everybody used to wear, Jews, non-Jews, all kinds of kilts that have, like the cowboys in the westerns, you know, they have 4 corners, one here, one there, and 2 on the sides. 4 corners, and Torah say 4 corners need stripes to remind you of Hashem. Then over the years, it went out of style. Nobody used it anymore. So as a memory to those days, and we don't want to miss the mitzvah, so we recreate special, like t-shirt or under the clothes, you know, with 4 corners, and we put tzitzit and finish. Because every second it's a mitzvah. Who wants to lose such an easy mitzvah? Have to be a fool to take the tzitzit from your body for 1 second. Even when you go to the bathroom, you make a knot in front of the stomach, bring it up, you make a knot, you sit 20 minutes in the bathroom, count how many mitzvot you would lose if you take it out. It doesn't pay to take it. You sleep with that. Why you sleep with that? Even though at night, mitzvah tzitzit, it's not an obligation. It's only when it's day. But if you woke up at 8 in the morning and the sunrise was at 6, you just lost 120 minutes multiplied by 60 or mitzvot. It's right there, 10,000 mitzvot. You lost before you open your eyes. Tefillin is 1 mitzvah. Blessing on an apple is another mitzvah. Talit in a shul, another mitzvah. Every bracha you make, another mitzvah. Shema, another mitzvah. How many you did? All day. 20 mitzvot? Right here you lost 10,000 before you open up your eyes. I don't like to sleep with a tzitzit, Rabbi, it bothers me. That shows you have not 1% of 1% emunah in Hashem. If you go to sleep without tzitzit, it just shows 100% you have no emunah in Hashem. Or you're just a fool, one of the two. You choose which one you want to be. It's not a joke. One way or the other. If it would be $10,000, we would lose. Huh? I think even Gates would sleep with the tzitzit. Regardless of the 50 billion years. What do I have to lose if I can make another $10,000 before I open up my eyes every day? What's wrong? Well, donate it to Africa. Whatever the case may be, no? So, the guy put the rabbi in a conflict here. On one hand, he just announced the Lord, everybody wrote their name, and this guy just tricked him. So the rabbi said, listen, if you would do it a minute before I announced, you're right, I had to give it to you. Now after I announce, I cannot change my word. It's like a neder. It's a vow. I said, we're going to make a lottery. But now we're going to see if you're really kanai, if you're really strict with your love to Hashem and to His mitzvot, or you're just a show-off. Because many of the people, believe me, it's all show-off. You see them with faces, in a shoe like this, it's all a show-off. You don't need like this to go. You can stand like this and pray, close your eyes. Hashem knows you love Him in His heart. Sometimes you see, they come to the shul. I wish I can take films of their pictures. This guy looks like he just looked to the bathroom. This guy just looked like he won the lottery. This guy looks like he is about to shoot himself. Everyone with their faces. What is all this show? There's one guy, 1 week in yeshiva, you bring him wafers. Here, eat dessert. Oh, I don't touch this anymore. The Torah says you can enjoy this world. Just a week ago, he lived with Christine for 5 years in the apartment. You bring him wafers. Rabbi, I'm surprised at you. What? Isn't the Torah is to be humbled and not to enjoy the food and all this luxurious thing? Why are you bringing me cream cake? This is all a show. He doesn't have foundation. Many of the new Baalei Tshuva become cuckoos. Mamash. Why? They don't have direction. They don't have a real solid rabbi to direct them. 3 months is Baal Tshuva, his beard all the way to the ground. Who gave you permission to grow a beard? Chatzuf. Should give him 2 smacks to wake him up from his dream. People are 30 years learning Gemara, they think a million times, if I grow a beard, I have such responsibility and I make so many mistakes. I don't know halachot. I sit in a table, I don't know what brachot to make. They learn from me because they think I'm a big rabbi. You know, there's one rabbi in this town that he doesn't have a beard. Completely. Not even a little bit. Mamash, shiny. And if you take all the other rabbis and combine their Torah, it won't be equal to half of his knowledge. First, he's the oldest. Second, he learned in the best Faradi yeshiva in the world. With the best Rebbe in the world. Fourth, he had a talent for Hashem. Not everybody is born with that. Photographic memory. Every book you show him, he reads, he remembers everything. You come 7 years later, where did we learn this? Bring this book, he opens, he shows you. He has this gift. He saw the biggest rabbis in the world, how they behave. If you serve and you help and you're close to holy people, sometimes being even a week with a big tzaddik, big Talmid Chacham, it can be better than 1 year learning laws, halachot. Because 1 week, see how he behaves, right away teach you so many things, because every step they do, it's halacha. How they talk, how they walk, how they eat, how they learn, how they go into the mikveh, how they go into the shower, how they get dressed, how they... Every 1 minute, there's not a minute that you don't learn something new. How they talk to their wife, how they behave when the children do something wrong. Just 1 week you attach to him, you learn so much, like a whole college. Kosher one. No foundation. Ooh, wow. No foundation. The camera gets nervous. They have no foundation. What is this? Don't eat wafers. 3 weeks in yeshiva, already black hat. Take it easy, my friend. No, I don't wear blue shirts anymore. Only white. Only some of them right away become Hasidim. Peot, all the way to the ground. What is this? It's not the right way. It's not. You have to go to a big Rav. Rabbi, am I in this level? I want to grow a beard. First you have to ask your wife. Maybe your wife won't be attracted to you anymore. If your wife will be 1% less attracted to you and you grow a beard, you lost. It's not a mitzvah. Why? It's going to be problems in a Shalom bayit. Why? Because the level of the people in this generation is nothing what it used to be. 1,000 years ago, a woman didn't care if her husband is handsome or not. She didn't care. You can look like a monkey. As long as you use a tzaddik, it's good for me. Today, people are very shallow. They're very shallow. Even the ones who know Torah, they're not what it used to be. So the people are very connected to this funny world. They care what they wear. They care how their rug looks. They care the pictures. They care about everything. They care about the car. Rabbi, this car vibrates. I don't like the driving of it. Come on. They care how the donkey runs. The donkey, yeah, I have to go from here to there. But anyway, I'm thinking about the Torah. I care how the donkey runs. I once saw 3 Arabs with a donkey. They put watermelons in a carriage. Poor donkey. The carriage was so heavy, it picked up the donkey all the way in the air. It went like this, you know. Whoop. So you see the donkey, maybe it's 20 feet in the air with his legs like this. And then the Arabs don't know what to do. They have to pull the watermelon off. And slowly the donkey came down. That's how it was. When I was a kid, I remember my father used to take me to the market. And then his friend, mother, lived there. And I used to go and there was a donkey. And the donkey had a stone. And they grind with the donkey. The donkey, this was 25 years ago in Israel. You have the lemon tree, you take lemons, you squeeze, you take some peppers, you grind the peppers, you make... That's how it was. So the world was different. But just that you know, a person that starts to become religious, he has to step, to move always forward, never to stand, and definitely not to go reverse, but to move in the right direction, to build himself one step after the other. If he jumps from A to Z right away, it's just a matter of time until he collapses completely. Guarantee. No exception to the rule. Guarantee. If he collapses, most of the time he will collapse to 0 and leave the religion. If he's lucky, he will collapse to 20, 30, which means he will still be Shomer Shabbat, with the 1/4 yarmulke on his head, and of course everything will disappear, then the leather jacket comes back, and the earring and everything. Maybe he will still keep kosher. Just a year ago, yeshiva, if somebody made a beep in a tefillah, shh, he goes like this, ready to kill him. A year later you see him in Dizengoff with smoking, you know what. That's what it is, and I see it all the time. I told you the story that I saw one guy. It's a very sad joke. All of a sudden I see they bring a guy, they put a mask on his eyes. I told you that story or no? No? Well, I'm dreaming once. I didn't tell you the story. There was one poor rabbi. I didn't forget about the tzitzit, don't worry. We'll get back to it. So there was a rabbi dying from cancer here in York Avenue. I think 7 years ago, something like that. Poor rabbi was a tzaddik. No, what? We say poor. He's laughing at us that we're still here. Can be in heaven already 7 years enjoying. But we understand what we see. We don't know what's behind the scenes. So he was dying from cancer in his stomach. And as it's happening, you know, they're trying, the family, everything. They try this, they try shakes, they try this doctor. They go to rabbis, they make special, whatever they can do, they do. One of the things, they decided to bring a baba. You know what a baba is? Baba is, you know, most of the time a fake Kabbalist that pretend is closing his eyes, somebody's holding his hand, they bring him like this, with a long jalabia like this, and he comes and he makes all his faces, and people stand online to throw hundreds of dollars to the jar. That's what called a baba. And he tells you, take this, and take this, grind it, put it under your head when you go to sleep, smear it on your eyes, you do 5 times like this, tell you all kinds of things. And so, wow, this guy knows what's going on in the upper worlds. You understand? And usually it's all away until he vacuum all your money into his stomach. That's usually how it happens. And there's a lot of crooks out there. But anyway, so they decided to bring a guy, supposedly holy. I see a guy, he comes into the shul, 2 very long peot like this, so right away it doesn't look good. Then I see he has a mask on his face. Mask. You know the mask that they put in a plane when you sleep? I said to myself, wow, maybe he's blind. The first minute, then I see he comes in, they hold his hand. Then once he's in the shul, that's it, he's in the men's section. So he takes the mask off. So this guy looked familiar to me. I'm trying to remember where when I see a face, I remember the face, even 50 years later I remember the face. I may forget the name after 10 seconds. Somebody told me his name. Names, Hashem Yerachem. But faces, no matter what, I remember the face. So I said, this guy looks familiar. I'm thinking where I know him from. Then they say that they brought him to give a bracha to that tzaddik that is dying from cancer. I see all the show that he makes. People come. He say to somebody over there, you wait and see. So I ask why he puts the mask. He say he doesn't want to look at ladies. So I say to the guy, you wait and see. This guy, one day they'll find out that he makes sin with married ladies. So he looks at me and says, how shame on you, he says. How dare you talk about him, a tzaddik like this and this. I say, trust me, when people do something extremely weird, check psychologically behind it, what's behind it. They try to hide something. See it. This is what it is. 3 years ago, all over the news, one married woman after the other came to confess. He escaped from Israel and he got the cancer now. Nobody knows where he is. Hiding. Exactly. Not as a prophet. Or I see things. Nothing, I don't see anything. Common sense, that's all. That's why I was like, what is all this show? It comes to the airport, the woman says, sir, I have to check your passport. Take it off. No, I can't. What all this show? Come on. This is the Torah. This is the religion. Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, the biggest rabbi in the world, he puts a mask. Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul, the holiest person lived in this generation until 10 years ago. He ever put a mask? Somebody walk with him on the street, he put a mask. They don't, so why you do? You better than them? It's all a show. That's not what Hashem looks for, actors and shows. Hashem look at people who keeps the mitzvot, the religion, as it is. Tefillin, tefillin. Tefillah early in the morning, tefillah early in the morning. With tears, it's even better. Kosher, strictly kosher. Tzitzit, good one. With the best one, no problem. That's what Hashem is looking for. Finally, you need to put mezuzot, get the best, if you can afford. Talmud Torah, look for the best, not half and half. That's a real kosher one. Learn Torah as much as you can. It's not a sin to work. Like some brainwash the people that if you're working, you're a criminal. No. If a person show Hashem that I am devoting every minute of my time to learn Torah when I can, that's a very good thing. Which means he goes to work, he has a work, he has a lunch break, an hour, he eats, he learns 20, 30 halachot. Oh, then he comes home, he's with the family, then he has a chevruta 2 hours. Then early in the morning he gets up early, he prays, he learns an hour. So Hashem see, it's obvious that if I would give this person to win the lottery, he won't even have to go to work anymore. He's going to go right away to learn Torah. Why he's going to work? To support his family. He doesn't want to collect charity. Every other person knocking on doors, I want tzedakah. No, that's not what Hashem is interested in. Hashem is Rambam, Ruker by the Rambam. If you can learn and work, it's good. If you work and anyway don't make money, forget about it. Go and learn Torah. Let the rich people donate to the yeshiva and you eat from there. But if you can support yourself and give others, it's nothing less than those who sit all day. Believe it. This is the way it is. The Torah says, Issachar and Zvulun, the children of Yaakov. One learn full days, one supports him and him, both of them, and they share the Torah. Not share. They both get the same amount. It doesn't come on your expense if you learn. If you learn and someone supports you, it doesn't take away from your mitzvah. Whatever you get, and he gets whatever he gets. So the Rebbe from Kloisenberg, he said to the guy, now we're going to see if you're real or you a show-off. As everybody picked up, as they picked up the name, which name came out from 400 notes? His name. Why? It was real. He really wanted the mitzvah of tzitzit. He had one pair of shirt, one shirt. That's all you have. This is your entire property. Pants and a shirt. Finished. And now you're risking your shirt, you're ripping it up. Maybe the rabbi will agree to give you the tzitzit. You got it? His name came out. It's just show you when a person wants to do 100% L'Shem Shamayim, there's no way in the world that Hashem won't let him succeed. Because Hashem is interested. He's interested that you do what He told you to do. Everything else is a test. I wanted today, before I will read to you some of the questions and answers that you're asking probably every week of your life, just to conclude what I started in the beginning of this lecture, that everybody here should remember, a man that cheats on his wife is a filthy, miserable, despicable human being. No other words is better to describe him. And if Chas v'Shalom there's anybody here who ever did it or plans to do it, have to make serious tshuva for it. To come and tell, it's not wise. Why to break the family? You already made the sin. Tshuva means to regret what you did, never to ever do it again, to be ashamed of what you did, and to learn a lot of musar and Torah that it will never happen again. Because people are people and they have desires. All the cheating starts by looking at things that are not yours. All the jealousy, all the chamdanut, when a person desires other people's things, starts with the eyes. The Torah says, block your eyes, don't look. Not with a mask. Just don't look. You walk in the street, something bad came, close your eyes or move your face. Or turn around if it's necessary. If you're a rabbi in a wedding, you come to the wedding and the designer that made the dress, he only made half of the dress. I don't know what happened. The other half he forgot to bring. They didn't bring the woman talit to put on herself, the kala. So the poor rabbi has to do the kiddushin, close their eyes. They say, Rabbi, what happened? You have allergy? Why you don't open the eyes? You shouldn't be embarrassed. You should say, I'm sorry, I can't open up my eyes because people are not modest here. Not to talk that the Shekhinah doesn't come to such wedding. That's the way they dress under the chuppah. Chuppah, it's the holiness of Hashem comes there. To merge the two souls. And Hashem cannot come when the kala dress like this. Absolutely not. You know, I get emails from a lot of goyim, I told you. I learn a lot from these emails. I learn a lot. Some goyim, from their question, you see that they have very high level of fear from Hashem. And it makes me wonder. Why? Because I know from experience all my life that if a person doesn't learn Torah, it's almost impossible to have fear and enough respect to Hashem. No one is afraid. Why? Ignorant, no knowledge, no worrying. No worry. Don't worry about anything. When you begin to learn medicine, oh, my kidneys are not good. This is not good. That is not good. Because you learn. You know all the things. Oh, I have this symptom and I have this. And now you learn and you know, chas v'shalom, it can be an infection. And next thing you're going to lose your kidney. And the next thing it's going to be a heart failure. What made you overcome these problems? Learning. But by learning, you started to worry. Oh, my situation is very bad. But people who do not learn medicine, whatever they do, they never worry. Up until one day they fall and die. Because they never learn what they're doing. They eat fat, they eat cholesterol, they smoke, they 20 cups of coffee a day, blood pressure, they don't care about anything. Symptoms, no symptoms. My father's friend was like this. 2 weeks, he has pressure in his chest and his hand. Almost every fool knows today that if you have pain here and here, it's moments before heart attack. 2 weeks. What? He's afraid to go to the doctor. He's lazy. I don't know. His wife said for 2 weeks he's complaining that he has pain. Oh, 52 years old he died. Why? Steaks and fat and 4 packs of cigarettes. That's the results. So learning, on one hand, make you worry about your situation, spiritually and physically, but gives you a chance to correct. You don't learn, there's no chance to correct. Not about your medicine, your medical situation, not about your spiritual situation. So we want to conclude that subject. A person has to understand, your wife is not just another picture in a house. You owe her gratitude more than any person in the world. The Gemara said there was one rabbi, his wife was worse than a witch, very evil woman, and his students couldn't see the horrible life that he has with her. And it got to a point that his students said, Rabbi, we cannot see what she does to you. How can you stand there? And he said to them, it's enough for me that she's raising my children, and that's it. For that already I owe her more than I can imagine. Everything else, it's irrelevant. You see what it is? Somebody who knows to appreciate. Imagine if chas v'shalom, a person, wives die, and he has to raise children on his own. Lo aleinu. What happens today? It's one of the problems that we have. Many guys lose their wives in a young age. He has to hire a nanny, full-time salary, to be in a house. Right? Somebody, if he doesn't have in-laws that are capable of doing it, or whatever the case may be, or the in-laws are not religious, or it could be a problem, or they don't want, or they don't know. Whatever the case is, he has to take a woman to come from morning to night and raise the children, send them to school, cook for them, whatever. It would cost him fortune. Just for that, that's what his wife saved him, already owes her so much. That's besides the support, besides the loyalty and all the other things. And even if she's nothing, that's his partner for life. This is who Hashem puts him with. That's it. There's nothing you can do. You don't want to live together, you got divorced, it's a different story. The Gemara says one of the rabbis divorced his wife and was continued to support her and her new husband, sending her money. Because he saw that one time she walks in the street to collect money. He said, well, that's my ex-wife. Cannot be that she walks in the street and collects. He started to support them. There's a lot of stories in the Gemara that teach us about how you become a high-level person. So I started to tell you, these goyim send me emails, like, it gives me goosebumps. I said to them, how did they reach such level? Without Torah, without born holy, just by listening to the lectures, it inspires them to this level that they're willing to do this, they're willing to give this, and they're willing to sacrifice so much. But there's only one answer to it. Jews have very strong evil inclination. The evil inclination resists every good thing you want to do if you are obligated. If you're obligated to learn Torah, the Satan interfere. If you're obligated to give a lot of tzedakah, if you're wealthy, the Satan comes to fight. If you are obligated, if you have weakness with the ladies, the Satan always sends you the ladies to you. This is the way the life is. This is the way Hashem designed the test. The Goyim has only 7 laws to keep. In those 7 laws, they have evil inclination. You should not steal, they have strong desire to steal. You should not kill, so they have desire to kill when someone gets them angry, or whatever the case is. Or if they have worship idol, they have strong desire for those. The 7 laws. Everything else, they don't have desire. It's like Jewish women that sometimes have strong desire to learn Torah. On my way here, one girl called me from Florida. She wanted me to find her a yeshiva for girls to learn full time, but very strict. Not joke. That girls learn from morning to night all day. I said, I don't know if there's a place like this in America. I have to make a research. Why she doesn't have Yetzer Hara? Because she's not obligated to learn Torah. You got it or no? Same thing a goy. Once the goy convert, then he realized, wow, it's not what I thought. It's a lot harder. Till now, I was dying to keep Shabbat. It was easy for me. Now I became a Jew. All of a sudden, it's very difficult. Wow, Shabbat, it's too heavy for me. Why? Until now, you're not obligated. Now you are obligated. Now it's a whole different story, my friend. When you were Chris, no evil inclination in Judaism. You went into the mikveh, you came out Avraham. Now you Avraham, it's a different story, my friend. Different soul, different evil inclination. And it happens to them a lot. That's why I always tell them in advance. I warn them. Believe me, stay a goy and keep the 7 laws. Don't be a big shot. Once you convert, there's a high chance that the things that are easy for you now, in 3 months from now will be heavier than an elephant. That's how it's going to be, and it happens. I want to read to you some of the questions here. You know, the Torah said we have to take care of orphans more than we have to take care of just another poor person. If we have a poor Jew and an orphan poor Jew, the orphan comes before. We have to have more pity to him. What happened today is when we have couples that the husband left them and ran away to overseas or something. Left the wife with a kid, 2, 5, 10, whatever it is, and he left. Are these kids considered orphans or not? She's considered widow or not? Logically speaking, why the Torah say to worry about widow and orphans? Because they have nobody to take care of them. If they have a father, he takes care of everything. He brings home food, he brings money, he brings clothing, he pays their tuition to yeshiva. Now there's nobody like this. So how a wife is going to raise the kids and still go and bring money, right? It's difficult. So the question that was asked, this is questions that were asked by Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. It's a whole set, 7 or 8 books already by now. So Rabbi Naki was attached to him for many, many years, in previous years, and every question he heard people asking him, he wrote in his notebook, and they made a book. Plus, many of the questions he came and asked himself. And whatever he told him, he wrote, and they published a fantastic book. So, this is the first question here. It says like this. A charity fund that is designed to buy clothing for orphans. Are they allowed to give some of their money to kids that their father ran away to overseas and the mother is the only sponsor in the family? Because this is the people who donate to this fund, they want their money to go to orphans because it's a special reward, more than just to give to kids. No? Let's keep it open for another 10 minutes. So the answer is yes. Allowed. So you see, I never thought so. You see sometimes families, the father left them, the kids are alone, but they're not orphans, God forbid. They have a father somewhere. So what are we talking about? We are talking about that the father left and neglect them. Don't send money, don't send anything. If he left because he had a fight with the mother, but he continued to pay the tuition from his business, that's a different story. We're talking left them with nothing, and believe me, there are enough cruel people who does it. They one day disappeared, and you don't know what's going on. Then another question, What happens if poor customers comes to your store, and you know they're in yeshiva, avrechim, they learn Torah, and you know if you offer them tzedakah, they will be embarrassed to take. No, it's okay, we manage. So let's say the sale was $100, and you fake in the register to make it 80, let's say. Right? And you're thinking in advance, I'm going to do it, and the $20 that I'm giving him off, I'll take away from my maaser. Like this, after he leaves, I write it in my notebook, 20. Another avrech yeshiva comes, 30. Another one comes, 10. And I write, and like this I see, oh, I gave 10%, and I gave them, they're not got embarrassed, they don't feel anything. If you think in advance to do it, that you make a condition that this is how you're going to give people money, it's count 100% tzedakah, like maaser. And it's actually in a higher level because they're not getting embarrassed. By telling them, oh, I know you're in yeshiva, I'm giving you $20 off, there's good thing to both sides. Here they're not getting embarrassed, but on the other hand, you make Kiddush Hashem by making them feel good that they learn Torah. I'm only giving it to you because you learn Torah. I had a friend that is not religious, a Kurdish guy. He has a suit store in Westbury, in an office building. And we used to, for holidays, I used to take guys from the yeshiva to him. He sells very, very nice fancy suits, good names. For us, for sure, it was very, very cheap. But in general, it's very cheap. But for us, it was even less. So he loved the yeshiva guy so much that, let's say the price was $200 for a suit that worth $1,000 somewhere else. So he said, okay, no, $180. Then after 5 minutes, you know what, take a tie. You know what, take this also. He gives you this, he gives you... In the end, you felt you almost got it for free. It shows you that he loves the Torah. Maybe when he was a kid, whatever, he grew up in Israel, in Yerushalayim, he saw a lot of Torah. So it makes the guys feel good. Why? Oh, at least somebody acknowledged that I learned Torah. You understand? By the way, I once told the story, I'm telling you the story is very good. The Gemara said there was one guy, it's a midrash actually, his father put him to learn Torah when he was 5 years old. 5 years old. And when 25 years he was learning, the Rebbe called the father, he said, your son is a genius, it's a shame that he's going to be in yeshiva, hire a tutor for him, and let the tutor teach him one-on-one. It's going to be the biggest chacham that you can find. 25 years, the tutor taught him separately. But he doesn't leave the house. Why? It started that the father wanted to send him away to yeshiva of genius people far away. But the mother didn't want. She had one kid. He doesn't leave the house. They're arguing, they almost got divorced. They go to the rabbis. The rabbis say, why you want to divorce her? She's not pretty anymore? He said, no, that's not the problem. She's not cooking? No. She's not cleaning? No. She said something against you? She's not a wife anymore? No. So what's the problem? She doesn't want my son to go to good yeshiva. That's enough reason. So the rabbi said, let's compromise. How about if you bring a tutor to teach him one-on-one, and she's going to devote her time to cook for them and take care of all their needs? You agree? They asked the wife. She said, yes, as long as he's in my house. I see him holiday, Shabbat, no problem. So they made a deal. That was the deal. 25 years. He learns Torah. He finished every book you can think of. He knows everything now. 30 years old. Now he needs shidduch. He comes out of the room. First time after 25 years, he goes to the market. He goes to the market. He comes to a guy that sells juice. Squeezed juice. He said, can you give me a glass of orange juice? He said, sure. 5 shekel, $5, whatever. He said, no, I don't have money. He said, so how do you want me to give you for free? It's my business here. He said, no, I was learning now Torah for 25 years in a room. I just came, this is my first day out. And I don't have money. So maybe you give me for free. Say, hey, the Torah you learn help you. What good it does for me? The fool told him. What good is it for me? Instead of run and kiss his hand. Come, I'll give you the whole thing for free. Take to your family also. If he was smart, what an opportunity to win a treasure. People don't have sechel, no knowledge, millions of mistakes every day. When a person like this comes, what do you want? Just tell me, what can I do for you? What, you need a ride somewhere? Every second is millions profit, spiritual. Somebody that Hashem loves to do for him, it's like doing for Hashem direct, in the highest level. Common sense, even though the Torah says it clearly. But even without it, it's common sense. If the prince come to you, the son of the king, that the king loves him very much, come to your store, the prince, wouldn't you treat him like almost like God? Why? Treating him like this is like doing for the king. Tomorrow I have some problem, the king loves me because I help his son. Right? So the guy said, no matter what, he didn't want to give him a glass of juice. The kid comes home, and he says to his father, he threw his stuff, his hat, he's very upset. The wife says, why are you like this? He's crying, he's angry. He says, maybe I made a mistake, he says. 25 years I said, I learned Torah, even a glass of juice I couldn't get today? What good is that for me? The kid says, he's not a kid, he's a man already. So the father saw that he's upset. So he says, I tell you something. I have a diamond that I want to give you, and I want you to go today to the market, the same market you went, and I want you to sell this, to ask prices, to see what's the best offer you can get. The best offer. Okay? So the guy said, okay, fine, I'll go. He takes the diamond, special, precious diamond. He goes to the vegetable guy, to the fruit guy. How much you want to give me for this diamond? One guy say, 300. The guy say, 400. Yeah. One guy say, 700. One guy say, 1,000. So the boy think, wow, this guy offered 3 times more than the other one. He come to the guy that didn't want to give him a juice. How much you want to give me for that? He say, $50. So then he wrote everything, every store, he wrote how much they're offering him. He comes to his father, he said, this is the list. The maximum offer, $1,000. The father smiles, he said, no problem. Tomorrow, I'm sending you to 47th Street. See, Mr. Borochov, Mr. Gavrielov, Mr. Aminov. This is all the stores you're going tomorrow. They know very well about diamond and gold. You take this ring, and you go to them and write how much they're offering you for this ring. So he come, Mr. Gavrielov said, 35,000. He wrote 35,000. The guy, what's a different world here? 35,000. Goes to the other guy, said, how much he offered you? 35? 37,000. Slowly, he got to $100,000 in the market. Now imagine if they're offering him 100, he's worth $1 million. He comes back to his father, and he said, this is the list. So his father comes and says, here, see. Look at the 2 lists. This is the difference between people who understand the value of the Torah and people who don't understand the value of the Torah. Someone who knows diamonds knows what's the minimum offer you can give. It's 100,000, 35,000. Somebody who doesn't know what a diamond is, they gave you prices like a cubic zirconiac. They thought it's another piece of glass. So you guys say 50, this guy say 100. They do not know. You went to this fool that squeezed juices. What does he know from his life? 5 shekel he didn't want to give you to take one stock in your eternity, to be affiliated with you in Shamayim in any way for your Torah, to show Hashem that He value your Torah, because he's a fool, he's an ignorant. What does he know about Torah? You get offended from them, from this ignorance, get upset. You saw the difference? This is the difference. When you go with your Torah to Shamayim, over there they know how to evaluate every second you learn Torah. Don't worry. Over there the price is very good for that. Much better than a glass of juice. You understand? And this is another question here. A person that goes to learn in yeshiva every day, he takes a bus or transport or train every day back and forth. Avrech, learning in Kolel, can he deduct the transportation from his maaser? Or even from him and his wife together? Let's say the wife works and they have a monthly income. They want to deduct the transportation to the yeshiva. Can they deduct it from their maaser or no? Surprisingly, yes, he says. Yes. Then the questions are very interesting, because this is question, trust me, I hear these questions day after day, night after night from all kinds of people. An avrech, a person who comes to give lectures, if he would sit in yeshiva and learn from 8 to 10, they give him X amount of money per month extra for these 2 hours. Let's say he makes X amount of money. If he stayed the night seder, it's extra few hundred, let's say, an extra 300 per month. Now when he goes to give lecture, he doesn't get it. So he asks if he can deduct from his maaser the amount of money equivalent to the amount of money he would make if he stays in yeshiva. Since he's volunteered from his time to go and teach people Torah, it would be much better off for him to stay in his town, sit there, and learn Torah. First, he enjoy better, he doesn't have to travel, and he doesn't lose money. So at least, I don't want to make money, but at least not to lose what I could have made by sitting learning Torah. So can I deduct an equal amount to what I have to make if I'd stay to learn by going and volunteering and teaching Torah for my maaser? The answer he told him is yes. But later, when he left, the guy, there was one rabbi next to him, Rabbi Babayov. Sounds good, no? Rabbi Babayov Shlita. That Rabbi Babayov said that after he left, he said, it was a shaky answer what I told him. It's questionable. So the understanding was that he was so afraid that he will stop going to teach people Torah where he goes, that he says, yes, you can deduct. Then one other question, and it's the last one for tonight. Are you allowed to buy from your master money a lottery card of an ambulance service, Atzala? Let's say Atzala makes an auction, Chinese auction, they sell tickets, and there's a chance to win something. Whether you do it for the mitzvah, whether you do it to win a car or a trip to Israel, whatever the reasons are, you want to deduct this money from your maaser, because after all, you went to Atzala for tzedakah.
What if you win?
Huh?
What if you win?
If you win, then there's no... You got 100 times more than what you invested, so you didn't really give that money. You didn't give, you got. You gain here. You have to give more maaser for what you gain. But besides the point, are you allowed to deduct it from the maaser as other charitable things or no? What do you say?
Yes.
Huh? You're driving an ambulance probably. Yeah, huh? Maybe I'm starting to get Ruach HaKodesh a little bit. Look, my hair is all gray. No, it's because it's my birthday today. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, so the answer is yes. But here is a similar question. In the same question he was asked, tickets to the Israeli army Chinese auction. They also do donations to the army. Can he deduct from his maaser or not? What do you think?
I think so.
That's because you are not an Israeli soldier. Ambulance, you know.
But it's saving lives.
Not allowed. Not allowed. To the ambulance, yes. To the Israeli army, no. I don't know the reasons, could be many reasons. In my opinion, one of the reasons is because the people who are in charge of the army are not people who keep Torah and mitzvot. And they are not reliable people. Not that every religious person is reliable. Unfortunately, it's also not the case. But statistically, person that fear Hashem and keep Shabbat and put tefillin and pray and is afraid not to talk Lashon Hara and what he eats, what he doesn't eat, the chance that somebody like this will be a thief is much lower than someone who don't believe in Hashem Bechlal and don't care about the Torah, obviously. I always say it's better to be a righteous goy than a not religious Jew. Why? Because the righteous goy is afraid of someone, so he won't steal. He won't steal. Why? If he's your partner, you leave the store, he is dying to steal from you. He may even hate you as a Jew, but he doesn't steal because he's afraid of him. You got it? The other one, the Jew, don't care about him. He doesn't believe in him. Well, he's afraid to steal. So the people who are in charge of the pyramid, every week you hear on the news they took $10 million bribe here, $10 million from the American company, from McDonnell Douglas, from this company to buy their missiles, to buy their airplanes. All of a sudden, every Israeli officer that make $2,000 a month salary when he's in the army, that's their salary, $2,000. They have a driver, a car, all kinds of benefits, health insurance, everything. But how much they make in the Israeli army? $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 is the chief of the army. A judge in Israel don't even make $10,000 a month. In a Supreme Court, a teacher in Israel make $1,000 a month. A doctor in a hospital in Israel, $2,000 a month. That's what they make. How all of a sudden, all of them, when they retire from the army, age 45, 50, buy houses that worth millions of dollars in the most expensive neighborhood in Israel, apartments here, apartments there, private jets, what's going on here? Where all this money came from? As an employee of the army. Very interesting. Very interesting. Amevin Yavin. So maybe that's one of the reasons. Why? How do you know? You think you give it tzedakah and somebody puts it in his pocket. You understand? Also, it could be also maybe because it's involved with Chilul Shabbat also over there, because even when it's not life risk, let's say when I was in the army, right, they make people fix cars on Shabbat. They make people fix cars, planes on Shabbat. Or even not really working, but doing other things that is not permitted in Shabbat. Even El Al that claim that they are Shomer Shabbos. Yeah, they're not flying on Shabbat, but they fix the planes on Shabbat. So what's the difference? It's just to make the religious quiet, to fool them, but they fix the planes on Shabbat. They're not Shomer Shabbat. If they really be Shomer Shabbat, they would make double profit, because Shabbat is a source of all the blessing. Naturally, when you close your business on Shabbat, you're supposed to lose minimum 14% of your weekly income. Why? It's one day less a week. That's naturally. That's the way nature works. Minimum. Why I say minimum? Because usually the weekends there's more business. So maybe if you take out Shabbat, you can lose 30% of your weekly income. Naturally. But we are a supernatural nation. The laws of nature don't work by the Jews. Remember this, always. That's why a Jew can take a job that they say will pay you $2,000 a month to be a Rebbe in yeshiva. How can I support my family with $2,000 a month? Before I start the month, my expenses are double. So I'll take a job that I don't have a chance to bring even 50% of the income? If you were a goy, you're right. But we are not. We know that everything that happens to us, Hashem is doing to us. I will finish with one story that happened to us last week. My wife, she got a ticket because the baby, when she puts him in a car seat, השם יעזור לנו עם זה. מי זה הוא? They try to sell you a credit card? What is this? Tell them I have 18 already, enough. Every hour.
I want to hear your lecture.
So, they want to hear or they want to ruin the lecture, one of the two. Anyway, so she got a ticket because the baby, every time she put him in a car seat, the 2 minutes ride from his kindergarten to the house, he takes it off. He goes like this and he comes out. And he comes out, not only in the back of the minivan, he comes to the front and stands between the two chairs like this. And guess what? The policeman come, you see, 3.5 years old, smiling to him and scream, police! Police! Ticket. No problem. Ticket. So she said, you gotta come with me to the court. At 7 o'clock, 1 hour will be finished. I said, okay, it's in town, 3 minutes ride. We go to the court. If you ever been there, in case you didn't go there so quickly, I'll tell you what it is. You write your name, you sit in a hall, they call one by their names. There's few people, negotiators. They tell you, okay, so as soon as we come, they say, oh, this is 3 points and minimum $160. Fine. We cannot negotiate that. So I say, so now this Italian woman, and there's 2 Jews, 2 Jewish ladies, and 1 Italian woman. So the Italian woman does the talking. So as soon as she reads, the Goyim doesn't know how to say Mizrachi. So how they say Mizrachi. So Mizrachi sounds Italian. So I always thought to myself, those who are not Italian, when they read my name, they think I'm Italian. But Italians, they know Mizrachi is not Italian. But this woman is Italian. She said, oh, she started to talk to me in Italian. See, anyway, I said, wow, very good, It started good. We worry about the points, So then she said, but unfortunately, nice, everything nice, we cannot negotiate, it's car seat. So I say, even though she never had for more than 20 years even 1 ticket, it's nothing we can do. So the Jewish woman, not religious, she said, can you step aside for 1 minute? She started to whisper to her ear. They're whispering. I tell my wife, don't worry, you see, everything will work out. They're whispering for about 30 seconds. She said, okay, let's talk now. She said, okay, so we waive the points, and we recommend the judge. Let's just hope the judge will accept it, because it's the first time we're doing it. We will recommend the judge reduce fine and no points. And it's going to count like a parking ticket in a record. Nothing, it doesn't record. So right away I say, of course, yes, go. Okay, so now we go to the judge. We stand in front of the judge. We saw 4 or 5 cases in front of us. Everyone, they made plea bargain. You accept it? Yes, no. The judge say how much to pay. Finished. We came, we stand. The judge reads, car seat, thinking, $100 fine, no points, like a parking ticket. You accept the deal? Say yes, no problem. We go out. Now we stand on line to pay. Then I see one Hasid. He comes to me, he say, you Mizrachi? I say, yes. He say, you just saved me. I say, why? So I was in a court 20 minutes before you. And I got convicted, and they told me you cannot do a deal for car seat. And that's going to kill me, because I already have points. These 3 extra points, I lose my license. And the insurance, forget it. So now, they sent to look for me because they made a deal with you. So they say it's not fair. How come to one we say deal and to the other one? So thanks to you, my license got saved. Look, only $100 and no points. So I said to the Hasid, now you have what to say on the Shabbos table. He said, exactly. So I say to my wife, now you understand why you got the ticket? It was all to come save this tzaddik. That's how the world works. Melechet tzaddikim na'aset b'idei acherim. The work of the righteous people is done by others. You just be tzaddik and Follow what Hashem told you. The rest, let the others, they'll do everything for you. That's the last lecture before Pesach. Next week is Leil HaSeder. The following week is also holiday. And Hazrat Hashem, we will meet the week after Pesach. We will let you know. Thank you very much again to Levi and to his wife for all this great hospitality and these great lectures. I made some CDs of some of the lectures that we had here before about the family purity, Taharat HaMishpacha in English, and it's combined with another lecture that we had here about modesty for the ladies of the house. Very good. You tell me if you like it or not. This is lectures that we did here. I saw they're very popular on the website, and I decided to make them in Hebrew and in English. So the English I took from here, the Hebrew I took from another place, and we made them. If you want, right here, of course, free of charge. Thank you very much. Chag Sameach, everyone.